Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. This week I wanted to show you how I handled the painting of this Weimaraner. The colour looks tricky to mix, but it's not if you know the colours to use. The most important colour on your palette for this painting is your yellow. So let's get into the video and I'll talk about what I'm doing as I go along. Let's look at my palette. I am using yellow ochre light, Rembrandt, that's very important, transparent yellow oxide, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, ultramarine deep, Rembrandt again, and zinc titanium white. I've also mixed up a few extra colours, my black red and my black green. These two mixed together gives me a rich black, a purple that leans heavier towards warm, an orange and another green. The two complementary colours that I will be working with are yellow and purple and green and red. Remember, complementaries give us our warm, cool palette. So red and yellow are our warms and green and purple are our cools. Purple and green are transitionary colours. They can be warm and cool. I am working with the warmer versions of these colours because I have mixed warm yellow into my greens and my warmest red into my purple. But remember, everything is relative to what is next to it. Even though my green and purple are warmer versions of those colours, they still look cool when laid next to my yellow and my red. The success of this painting hinges on the shifting from warm to cool. Because there is such an absence of colour in the dog's fur, it's really important to understand what my warm colours are and which ones are my cool colours. The worst thing I could do is try and paint this dog in black and white. It just wouldn't work and it would look flat because both black and white are cool colours. Too many cool colours laid next to each other will give you a chalky flat finish. To create form, I must have a balance of cool and warm colours in my painting. I usually find with my students that they struggle getting this temperature shift more than getting their values right. Sometimes it is both. So if your painting looks wrong and you checked your drawing, most of the time it will either be an issue with your temperatures or an issue with your values or both. So that's temperature dealt with on my palette. Next I want to talk about value. Most of my colours and mixes sit in either a mid-value range or a dark value range. The three colours that really control my value in this painting are my two yellows and my white. Let's deal with white first. White will lighten my mix, but it also knocks the saturation of everything I add it to. It will also cool everything down. Bear that in mind if you are trying to mix something warm. My yellow ochre light can also be used to lighten my darker colours. Because it is semi-opaque, it really will affect value of dark mixes. It will also affect the temperature of any mix too, as it is a warm colour. So if I am lightening, I have the choice of white, cool, and yellow ochre light, warm, or I can use both. I just want to briefly mention my transparent yellow oxide. This colour is great to add to dark mixes if you want to warm them up because the transparency of the paint will not affect the value of the colour. So very often I add this yellow to my rich black to give me another colour option. Notice on your palette you have a very dark red, a dark blue and a yellow that does not affect value. You can mix any dark value colours from these three, which will give you the colour shifts often seen in the shadows. Let's look at the actual mixing for this painting. The background is really simple. It is just these two colours laid in a broken colour effect. The shift from the green to the red just makes it a bit more interesting. Sometimes I have areas of red popping through, sometimes I have areas of green. My darkest areas in the dog are my rich black. For these areas down here, I am using a combination of colours, this purple plus this yellow. Remember, we don't want to affect our dark values, so I'm steering clear of white. In some areas, I'm pushing my purple more blue, in some areas more red. You can then see the transition to yellow. I've also used a little bit of this green too. Because this green has yellow ochre light in it, it is lightening my mix a little and is working well with that red. In that shaded area, you can see yellow, purple, red and green. As I move under the jaw, I add much more yellow ochre to my mix. See how much that lightens my paint. Then for the midtones, I start adding my white and I swap my transparent yellow for my yellow ochre light. My base colour is a mix of my yellow, my purple plus white. This will give me a good grey that I can then adjust really easily. If it is cooler, I add either my green or my white or perhaps both. If it is warmer, I add my yellow. If it is darker, I add my purple. If it is lighter, I add either my white or my yellow or both. Bear in mind, if you adjust the value, you may need to adjust your temperature too. But it is very straightforward if you understand what is warm on your palette and what is cool, what will affect your value and what won't. This is the key to painting. For the nose, I am using a combination of these three colours plus my yellow and white. These two affect the value. This one is warmer than this one. These two are very warm. My yellow lightens, as does my white. My white is a cool temperature, so where it is cooler, I am more likely to use this purple. Where it is lighter and cooler, I will use my white. Where it is warmer and darker, I will use this red. Where there is a high saturation of colour, I will mix these two together. Where I need to lighten but keep it warm, I will add my yellow. And that's really all there is to it. To recap then, work with complementary colours. This will make understanding temperature easier. Understand what temperature your paint is on your palette. Use the colour wheel to help you. Understand the values of the paint on your palette. Use white to lighten if you want a cool temperature. Use yellow to lighten if you want a warm temperature. If it is not light enough, add white. You can still adjust with more yellow if necessary. Finally, understand that cadmium yellow is not the same temperature as yellow ochre light. Yellow ochre light is a warm yellow, closer to an orange. Make sure you use the right yellow for what you are painting. I hope you have enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you can, and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com, where you will find examples of my work and also details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one.